I was mostly doing glamour, swimwear, underwear, just sexy shots. And so basically, I owned a lot of my pictures from back then. And I picked all my favorites throughout my career, all the years that I've been in this business, and chose all my favorites. And I designed it like a newspaper. Instead of Sam, well, yes, Samantha Fox or Sam Fox, I put the Sam. So it looked like the sun. And then on the front page, all press cuttings from my era as a model that I've kept. I've always kept my press cuttings because when you write a book, you need these things. And it went fantastic. And I think it proves to a lot of people I have no regrets about those pictures because they were very tasteful. Sometimes when I'm doing conventions, I'm signing pictures and a fan will come up with pictures I've never seen. And I go, oh my God, I've never seen that picture. And they'll quickly disappear before I sign it and go and get me a copy of it. So,
Wow.
yeah, no, I do look at pictures from fondly. Yeah. Sometimes the only qualm I had is the way my hair was or something stupid. I think, oh my God, it's so big. How did I get through the door? It'd be like that. Really, really 80s.
You gotta love the 80s hair. Well, you say you were number one. I mean, yes, you were the most popular pinup girl of the era. They say you were the most photographed British woman of the 80s. Like, what
Yeah.
was it like? You say like all like the teenage boys, like, and then the window crashed in and like all that male attention, like as a teenager, was that ever strange or you just were kind of used to it? Like, what was that like?
At school, um, at school, I was a very popular girl. But since found out from a few when I've been on school reunions, a lot of the boys said they were too scared to ask me out. I went, why? I really liked you. You know, back in the day, girls didn't ask boys out. Well, they do now, which is great. But back in the day, you used to wait to be asked out, didn't you? Really, you know, it was up to the boy to ask you out. And then obviously, when I left school and I had my Saturday jobs, um, I think one of the first things what happened, I was visiting my nan with my mum, like I do, my grandma on a Sunday, and then we used to wait for the bus. And I think I was just about 16 then. And in England, we have black taxi drivers, and they have to learn to know London. It takes them 3 to 4 years to learn this, and they go around on
Mm.
mopeds with where they've got to find in London. I mean, once they get this job, it's a fantastic job. I'm sure many Americans listening to me now, especially New York, how expensive a black cab is. But I was going to say, what was I saying? I was completely now. I'm not talking about black cabs. What am I talking?
About like all the male
Oh
attention,
yeah,
like as a teenager.
that's right. So these two guys, going back to black cabs. Sorry, I went off on a tangent then. I was standing at the bus stop with my mum, and there was two guys, one in a moped, the two guys in a moped, one in front and one behind. And they both turned, my mum said, and looked at me. And the first one stopped, and the other moped went straight in the back. So mum just felt I was obviously causing a lot of attention at that, malattention at that age. So I was quite used to it from a young girl. But I never took it for granted, to be honest. I was still that teenage girl who had some insecurities. We've all got that when we're young. And that's a good thing about getting, becoming older and more mature. You kind of you've gone past those insecurities and you know what you are now. You know, I can look in the mirror. Yes, I'm a woman, and I know what I don't like to wear, what I do like to do, what I like to do, what I don't like to do. You know, you just come into your own as you get older.
Yeah,
But yeah, so
totally.
a lot of boys, yeah, yeah, It was. I did cause a lot of malattention. I must admit. Yeah, well, I couldn't help it. I'm very sorry.
Very sorry. Well, you mentioned like when you broke into the business, was it like the Debbie Harry? Was it like Pat Benatar? Like were those like who were the people you kind of looked up to in the music business and kind of wanted to emulate?
Well, yes, those people I mentioned. I knew I didn't want to be in a girl band. Um, it's like the time I remember living in New York and I was listening to a lot of expose and stuff like that. In actual fact, did a gig with them quite recently, 2 years ago. It was quite, oh my God, I must be such a big fan. But and then we had a lot of girl bands in England, and I really wanted to be more. I was very into musicianship, and I think even for example, when I try to um, emulate Aiken and Walkman live because it was so sequenced and mainly all keyboards. to do them lives quite difficult. So I change them in the way they're very dance, and then my there's a guitar solo in it, so it kind of gives it that edge. So yeah, I just always wanted to kind of do dance. I wanted to do dance pop, rock pop. I was a massive fan of She's Got the Look, I remember at the time, which was number one in America. Who are they called again? They're from Sweden. She's got the look.
Yes, I know
Ah,
exactly.
terrible. Ring in if you know. I do that. Roxette, big fan.
Yes.
And I remember saying to my record company, I was going to do my Just One Night album, and I really wanted to kind of be a little bit more like that. And they weren't too much in agreement with that. So with Just One Night, it was a good album, but my contract with BMG kind of ran out with Jive Records. It kind of got lost there, really, which was a shame because Hurt Me, the Pants Stay On was just, I thought it was a great track, you know. But never mind. Some you win,
No,
some you don't.
exactly. Well, I mean, they said, right, like you were deemed like the British Madonna. That's like the, like, did you ever meet Madonna throughout your career?
No, I haven't. I really haven't. I've been in the same room. I remember when she started to look after, well, she had a record company, and Alanis Morissette, was it Maverick Records, maybe, I think.
Yes. Yes.
And there's a club in England called Subterranea, and it holds about 200 to 300, but it's got a great live setup. And it was her first live gig in England, and Madonna was there, and she's quite tiny like me. And I was like, she had many bodyguards, so I couldn't really see her. I'd love to have gone over to her, I really would. But I was being very mobbed that night as well. I had security men. So my my guys wouldn't really let me walk around, and I don't think her guys would either, because it was very mobbed with Madonna fans and Sam Fox fans and Alanis Morissette fans. It was one of those nights you'd never forget, and she was fabulous. Alanis Morissette was just fabulous. To watch her that close up, so much energy, and I could see why Madonna signed her. She was amazing, amazing, because she was very big in Canada before as a disco artist. I remember very early on she was a disco artist because I used to be in Canada ever such a lot. So for her to come out with that album, oh, it was fabulous. I liked it a lot.
It was great. Well, I mean, you did have bodyguards. Look, Touch Me went number one everywhere. It blew up around the world. You had from the music a lot of fans. I know you had bodyguards from like a young age. Like, talk to me about that and fame. And like from reading your book, I know you had like your share of stalkers, which not every famous person does. The more I read your book, the more I was like, wow, you had it really deep.
Yeah, you've got to be so careful. That's the other thing when you dream about